It's December 8th. In today's reading, Paul closes the letter to the Ephesians and begins his letter to the Colossian church. There is so much meat in today's reading. So many things stand out that it's hard to focus on just one passage. But today's reading covers one of the most important passages dealing with the nature of spiritual warfare, so it must be mentioned. Paul writes in Ephesians 6 that believers are not fighting against flesh and blood enemies, but that our opposition is evil rulers and authorities of the unseen world, mighty powers of darkness, evil spirits. He then lays out what is often referred to as the full armor of God, as he likens our defensive weapons to items of a soldier's clothing. 4 of the items are defensive: the belt of truth, the shield of faith, the shoes of the preparation of the gospel of peace, and the helmet of salvation. The sword of the Spirit, which is the Word of God, and prayer are the 2 offensive weapons listed. Our culture is fascinated with the supernatural: ghosts, mediums, vampires, zombies, and aliens. Hollywood can't push out movies fast enough to satisfy people's appetites for the supernatural and unexplained phenomena. The Bible explains that we live in a very dangerous supernatural world with very dangerous enemies. Our enemies are not people. They are spirits, unseen forces, and demons. They are powerful. They hate you, and they hate what you stand for. We war against them. Every day is a battle. Jesus is our champion, and His power is greater than theirs. He offers that authority to us, and we must learn to use that authority. We must stay plugged into that power. And we must learn to fight with that power. Christians today have an enemy who continually brings false accusations against us. In Revelation 12:10, Satan is called the accuser of the saints. His attacks against us are strategic. He tempts us to sin. If that doesn't work, he tempts us with pride because we don't sin. And when we do stumble, he tries to paralyze us with guilt and condemnation that can render us ineffective for God's kingdom. Fear, anxiety, bitterness, resentment, and jealousy are among the fiery darts he throws against believers. And one of his most effective strategies is isolation, cutting believers off from the very much needed fellowship and community that are so vital for spiritual vitality and growth. And he doesn't give up. He probes, and when he finds a vulnerability or weakness, he works on us repeatedly, tempting us in sensitive areas. Believers must be on guard because our enemy will repeatedly come against us in the same vulnerable areas to wear us down. And in those sensitive areas, we must be especially diligent. Here's today's application. Do you acknowledge the supernatural aspect of your walk with Jesus? There is much more happening than what you see with your eyes. There are other players involved. You have an unseen enemy who wants to take you out. Don't allow him the element of surprise. Be expectant that your enemy will attempt to get you to stumble, to sin, or to get you feeling guilty or so afraid that you are of little value to the kingdom. What are those areas where you're especially vulnerable to the enemy's lies and the enemy's attacks? Sexual purity, your affections, your ambitions? Is the enemy trying to kill your dreams? Does he try to get you worried all the time? Or is he using fear to keep you from what God has for you? Or are you just too busy to take time to consider such a question? Have you identified those areas where the enemy repeatedly seeks to destroy God's plans for you? Resolve to stand your ground and be diligent. Fight. Ephesians 6:10-18 lists both the defensive and offensive weapons available to fight this spiritual battle. Do what is necessary to guard, protect, and defend against the enemy's attacks. Now here's today's prayer.